Hej alle sammen. Lige inden vi starter den her episode, vil jeg bare gerne sige tusind tak, fordi I ser med. Det betyder sindssygt meget. Og så vil jeg gerne spørge jer om en lille bit tjeneste. Hvis I bare lige kunne gå ned, tryk på subscribe-knappen, hvis I synes, det er fedt, det vi laver. Giv den et like, hvis I synes, episoden er god. Så må I bare nyde den. Tak. So we're a bit confused how to do this, but I'm gonna try. Hi, og velkommen til Magnus og Martins hemmelige podcast. This is episode number what, Martin?
55.
And why are we doing it in English, Martin?
Because we have Conrad Molden here.
Hello. Welcome.
Hello.
So we are completely terrified, but also very excited to try to do it in English.
I'm very honored that you will do it in English. I did a podcast 2 days ago with Oliver Stanescu in Danish, and that was terrifying.
Oh, okay. How did it
go? An hour in Danish. I had to go home and do mouth relaxation exercises.
Really?
It was a lot of snackering dansk, but it was really fun.
Oh, that's cool. Well, how did you do mouth exercises?
Have you heard about face yoga?
No.
Have you not seen that?
That's face yoga?
Face yoga is a thing, yeah.
How do you do the dog and
down face? Basically, you just sit there and sort of massage your own face and feel really weird.
Okay, but it sounds nice though. It sounds nice.
It's nice. It's really nice.
Okay, so you did that in Danish, and how did that go?
It's good fun. It's actually the second time I was on his podcast.
Okay.
And he said to me that my Danish is a lot better than... It was almost exactly 1 year ago that I did it before. He said, your Danish is a lot better, which is really funny because since then I moved to Copenhagen and now I feel like I speak less Danish than ever.
Yeah, of course.
Because why would you?
Yeah, I know. Copenhagen, I have this silly joke where I say, in Jylland they fly the Dannebrog with pride, and over in Copenhagen they fly it as a reminder.
That's true.
That's so incredibly true.
But for how long have you lived in Denmark?
Since 2012, so 12 years.
Okay, and you're from England?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Where in England?
Originally from my mum she's from the West Country, but I grew up in London.
Ah, okay.
West Country is like the countryside bit. It's like the Jylland of England.
Okay.
Where there's like 3 cows and a house and stuff like that.
Nice.
Sounds scary.
But it sounds way more romantic in England than in Denmark.
It's just not Does it? I feel like Denmark can be a little romantic.
Yeah, I don't know. I just...
You don't see it?
To me, just like... Because our landscape is not that magnificent, so it's just kind of boring. Where like England, you have these like beautiful countrysides. In me, just what I think.
There are places like Downton Abbey that are very pretty, but there's also horrible, ugly bits.
Yeah,
you know that's what's funny about Denmark. I feel like you can go to maybe the more boring parts, like Herning, for example, but it's not dangerous. But if you go to the awful, boring parts of England, it's also like knife crime and.
But isn't London also incredibly dangerous now?
I think it's maybe worse now. I don't know. I was just back there with my family. I have 2 children and my wife, and we went to go and visit my mum back there, and I was just overwhelmed. So many people, so dirty. Transport system is crazy. You don't feel kind of safe. You're constantly like, oh, I still have my phone.
Yeah. Okay.
What's happened? Is it leaving EU or what?
I don't know, actually. I think it's just growing and growing. It's more than 9 million people. So it's more than, somewhere comparable to double Denmark in one city. And it's, very, very busy. Very, very dirty.
Yeah, that's actually make a lot of sense.
Have you ever been to London?
I've never been to London, but I want to go.
Yeah?
Go to the middle bit.
The middle bit?
Yeah, the nice... Where all the twiddly houses and...
I wasn't going to go to the outer skirts.
It's like coming to Denmark, coming to Copenhagen and being like, I'm going to go visit Glostrup.
Yeah.
I've heard Valby is really nice.
Are you hating on Valby? I mean,
the
Valby that's closest to Frederiksberg is actually pretty nice, I would say. But
but you never go visit Valby.
No, that's true.
You never really go visit Frederiksberg.
But that's, even though like Copenhagen is a really small city, but people who live in Østerbro, they never go to Vesterbro. And that's like, that's 2 kilometers or something.
Yeah, that's true. Unless they want to get drunk.
Yeah, true.
I talked to Mikko Glentorius recently. I was chatting with him, and I asked him where I know he's from Copenhagen, but I was asking where he's originally from, and he was like, I'm from the suburbs, like really, really far away. I was like, whereabouts? He said, Tornby, which is next to Kastrup. We're sitting in Eastlandsbrugge at a cafe, and I look at my phone, I'm like, it's 15 minutes on a bike. And by Copenhagen standards, that's like... And on Jylland, I feel like it's the opposite, because people will be like, I'm from Århus. And you're like, whereabouts? I'm Silkeborg.
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
Why is it that but in Copenhagen, you're so scared of saying you're from Copenhagen if you're not from this, like, city center. feel like.
Yeah, I would never say I'm from Copenhagen. I'm from the countryside as well.
Whereabouts?
Ølstykke up to close to Frederikssund.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
wow.
so the boring part of Northern Zealand. So
Okay, the non-rich bit.
yeah, exactly. In the middle of, yeah, exactly.
Is that do you know that thing about like how far you go, right?
It's more. Strandvine is all the Teslas and the big houses, right?
Yeah.
And he's from that part of.
Oh, you're from the rich half.
I was the poor in the rich area.
Okay. The enclave of Netto.
Yeah. Like the rich in Jutland and the poor in north of Copenhagen. Yeah. No.
What? But his family lives in Jylland now. So.
Yeah.
Oh, no way. Whereabouts?
In Horsens.
Oh, wow. I like the way you say that. Horsens.
Yeah. It's not that exciting.
You can take
I should have said Århus.
Oh, that's so funny. So they moved. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Everybody emigrates to Copenhagen, right?
Yeah.
Lives the good
Yeah,
life.
it's weird doing the opposite. They did it. But it's because so my mom is from Horsens, and most of my family on my mom's side lives in Horsens, so it made sense for them to go back there. And then my grandparents died, so there was a house they could move into and stuff like that.
Horsens is a nice town, though.
It's lovely.
Yeah, it is nice.
It's getting a lot better.
Done a lot of shows over there. Horsens New Theatre.
Yeah, it's a good theater.
It's an amazing theatre. Yeah, it has 3 very good rooms.
Yeah.
So, you know,
And then
it's always
2 terrible
googly.
ones.
And 2 really bad ones on the back.
But that's the thing, right? That a lot of I'm gonna say this different. The biggest audience for stand-up is in Jylland, right?
It can feel like it. I do a lot of. I've done a lot of shows around Denmark, and I'm always surprised at how well sales go in Jylland. I've done shows in Hjørring, up in up in like Nordjylland. But how do you pronounce it? Vendsyssel?
Vendsyssel?
Yes.
Yeah.
That region.
I like that he approved your pronunciation.
Did I do it?
Check.
Well, technically, I'm not the best.
But up in that region, which also, by the way, has its own breakaway independence movement, and they have their own flag. Have you heard about that?
No,
They have their
That's
own
real.
flag?
That's real. Yeah, they have that. Vendsyssel has its own independence flag.
What?
Why?
Because they want to be, they want to break away from Denmark, do their own thing.
They should
I
just
kind
do
of
that.
want them to.
Yeah,
They should be allowed.
yeah, let's do that. I want to see what happens. No, let's see what's happening.
Everyone in the parliament's like, yeah, that sounds great. Brønderslev can be your new Hovestel. You can do that.
We're not gonna lose a lot of economy because of that. It's not. No, please. It's not how. Is it California trying to get rid of like being also their own country?
Yeah, trying to leave the
They've
union.
talked about it, right? Because they would be like one of the richest countries in the world if they just left.
5th largest economy or something.
Yeah,
crazy,
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So
Really?
Yeah. So the
Oh,
US really don't want that to happen. But I mean,
Vendsyssel-
Vendsyssel,
Yeah, go ahead.
let's see what happens. Yeah.
We're gonna lose a lot of cash in the system, but that's it.
Yeah, that's true.
They do have Aalborg Airport. In that area.
I mean, I've never flown to Aalborg.
You've never flown to Aalborg? Oh, it's
No,
great.
why would I?
It's amazing.
Is it though?
I just love all the little airports in Denmark, places like Aalborg, because it's so cute. It's like people are pretending it's a real airport. So it's like, oh, we also have security. It's like, Birgitta, I can easily get a gun on this plane. Like, I just talked to you about Canal Snarl, and you'll just smile and let me on. Like.
I actually met the nicest security guy in Aalborg airport. Yeah, he was like he was like, yeah, and stop, and a little smile, and go. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna play with this. And my friends were so annoyed. They were like, oh.
I have a joke in my new show, but it's actually completely true. Where we were landing in an international flight into Billund Airport, which is second largest in Denmark, and I was expecting customs immigration passport check because I think we were coming either through the States or something like that. And as we were walking through the airport, there was just these old ladies just standing in the corridor where you go to get your bags, and they were just saying to people, "Do you have a visa for Denmark?" And they were like, yeah. And they're like, oh, okay, welcome to Denmark. That was the test.
Oh, they just asked?
Yeah, they didn't check. And I felt like stopping them and being like, guys, that you can trust Danes, no one else. Okay, you cannot trust Eddie. Don't trust me. Ask me for my proof.
That's hilarious. Do you have a visa? Yeah. All right, go ahead. No worries.
We should say
That is so Danish.
It's very Jysk as well. I think things are a little bit more beefed up in Copenhagen, I feel.
They're probably
It's a
like,
little bit more
who's gonna do something here?
I know.
So it would be way easier to, like, if you want to be an illegal immigrant, to fly in than just cross the border by car. So just fly in instead.
Just fly to Billund and take the
and
train.
then just walk in.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Fly to Holsey Andersen Airport in Århus. They have an airport.
They have an airport?
They have an airport.
So
With
stupid.
how many planes?
I think they do just like a charter just charter flights to Spain during high season. High season.
Yeah.
But that's pretty impressive. They fly to Spain. I would have guessed like Germany or something.
From Århus Airport, I think it's once a year, there's a flight to Phuket, Thailand. That's real with Århus charter.
Pretty cool.
And I just love the idea of looking at the departures board and it will be, Copenhagen, Bornholm, Phuket.
So, but I saw. Have you seen the documentary about the private planes that DR did? I think 2 months ago, 1 month, whenever we had a shirt on, something around there. They did a documentary about how many private planes that there is in Denmark, and apparently there are way more than I thought. It's going way better than I could ever imagine in Denmark, and it was the angle was like, why are there so many who use private planes when the climate change is a big problem, and should they be held accountable and all that? But they just flew from Billund to Odense, and like these you can drive for like less than an hour in my.
And they were taking private jet.
Yeah, to fly for like 15 minutes maybe.
When you could just take the DSB.
Yeah, that's insane.
Well, they want to arrive on time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not pay 5. It's probably cheaper to fly in a private jet, to be honest.
Cheaper, yeah. What is happening with DSB? Why is it so terrible?
I don't know how. I mean, again, if you go to like South Europe and you like use public transportation there, it's definitely better in Denmark. But we also pay way more for it, so it's supposed to be
but
way
how
better.
is Flixbus like almost becoming the easiest and best option?
Yeah, and Combardo as well is very popular. And it's so
Combardo
much
is
cheaper.
good.
Yeah,
Combardo is
I like the
actually
Combardo.
really good.
Yeah, I like that. If you're just going to Aarhus, I like that.
Yeah,
that's way better than.
But why? I think it goes to Aalborg as well, right?
Combardo?
Yeah,
I don't know. Probably.
Oh.
I was doing a show actually up in Aalborg, and I flew to the show in Aalborg. But it was very cheap to get back by train. Yeah. So I took the DSB, and it was however many hours it was, 4.5 hours or something. And as it was coming down to Århus, our train was cancelled. So we had to change train in Århus. And then the train from Århus, as it's coming down to like Fredericia area, there were all these rumours spreading around in the train, and people start panicking and bringing out their phones and booking Flixbus tickets. And I'm kind of oblivious to this because I was just really hungover and just too tired. And then as we pull into Odense station, it just says, cancelled, wait for the toll bus. And I walk off the train, and I don't know if you have seen, but in Odense there's this huge bridge that goes over all the railway tracks.
Yeah.
That entire bridge, all the way down into the street, is full. And you have to get in this queue to get onto a bus that drives you across Storbælt to Korsør to get on another train, because apparently power lines had fallen down in Nyborg. This was about 1 or 2 months ago. And that queue was standing in it, and a very friendly DSB lady came up, and there was a very severely disabled guy next to me in the queue. I was like, how long is this going to take? And she's like, at least 2 hours just to get on the toll bus. That's the minimum. And I must say, this is where Denmark is amazing. No, there's no one shouting, no one screaming, no one is hitting her. I was like, in the UK, all of these people would swarm the station and start looting and killing. And Danish people are like, okay, 2 hours, that's okay. That's okay. I understand. I'm not going to push. I was like, I ran. I started running to the Letbane, and then I took it to the Flixbus. It was like the last helicopter out of Vietnam. It was crazy.
We trust the system so bad here. I missed a flight 2 weeks ago going to Italy, and there was something. I don't know what it was. It was there's before the security, there's the where you check in your booking not your passport.
The like boarding pass.
Boarding pass, yeah. And I think it was those machines that didn't work. So like every second time people would get cancelled or something like that. So there was this big line. The line started all the way like down where you check in your bags. So it took like an hour and a half to get to security, and then there was security for that. So we missed our flight, but I never like rushed or any, because I was like, they're gonna fix it. And also there was this one lady, this old lady, who told like, hey guys, don't stress. all the airlines, they know that like we're behind. So
they're waiting for you.
Yeah,
totally waiting.
Yeah, there's definitely waiting.
Chill.
EasyJet is waiting for you, Martin.
Oh no, and you're believing them. EasyJet loves me. They care about me.
Yeah. And so we totally missed our flight, and I had to like go home and buy another flight for the next day.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
did you get compensation?
No, because the thing is that we tried. So my friend who booked it, he called his what do you call it?
Lawyer?
Not lawyer.
Oh, okay. I can't remember. That's pretty cool.
Insurance, and they said because it's not the airlines, but it's the airport. It's not as easy, and we can't prove it because you're supposed to be with like there 2 hours before, and all that is like your own fault. That's
so if you would have been there 2 hours before, you would have made it, but it would have been.
Like I mean, we were there an hour and a half before, because again, like you don't have to, in Copenhagen airport, you can be there like.
But that depends.
10 minutes
if you're
before
flying EasyJet, you should come there 2 hours before, because then you're gonna get there. Like you're gonna go to the airport, you're gonna go Terminal 1, and then they're gonna say, "All right, you need to be in the other part of Sjælland to go to use your trade."
But again,
and is there a bus or something? No, you're gonna walk.
Yeah,
you're gonna walk through everything.
we ran with 2 bags. Like for it, they say the app has like an estimate time for the security where your gate is, and it says 25 minutes if you walk.
Oh my god,
that's crazy! How can you walk 25 minutes?
25-minute walk.
And we ran it for 5. I would say we did it in 5 minutes, but you have to like go up and then down and then up again, and you're probably in Dragør or something at that point. I don't know. Maybe we took it from Aalborg. I'm not sure at this point. we ran for so long.
There might have been. You might have made it to Aalborg to take the flight. Yeah.
If you'd been British though, you would have just cut the queue. I think if you would have just panicked and been like, I don't care about any of these other people.
Some did that, and people uses their kids as an excuse. And I know you have kids, but like I just hate that. Like we're all busy. It's not the kids doesn't make you're more important in my.
Probably makes you less busy.
It's kind of true, yeah.
Like I don't know. It was just there was a few people who cut in line, but everybody looked at them like you're the worst fucking person in the world. So.
Yeah, if there's something us Danes don't like, it's people cutting in the line. And we won't get that angry. We'll get passive aggressive.
Oh yeah. True.
Like I remember being at a supermarket, and somebody was cutting the line or something like that, and I just went, "Oh, we're busy, are we?"
Yeah, you just talk loud to your friend.
Yeah, talk to your friend loud enough so you know they can hear you.
Yeah.
But you would never talk to them. That would be crazy. That would be outrageous.
I call it the Danish Death stare.
Yeah.
Because some people feel like the Danes will put up with something that they don't like, but it's not true. They will stare through fabrics and through surfaces. I was in the stiller zone, and the guy next to me was just having a very loud conversation on his phone. And it was only a couple of minutes, and then he hung up, so I thought, no problem. And then he answers another call, and I was not even looking around the carriage, and I could feel the passive aggression. You can feel the people in the seats behind you like this. And then I did start talking to him and said, I'm very sorry, this is stiller zone.
Yeah.
And he started this huge excuse about how he had all of these things that he needed to do. And then I just very passively aggressively said, then do those things outside the stiller zone. And then he hung up, and then the energy in that carriage was just me and him sitting. I was like, yeah, I really hope he doesn't hit me.
That was really uncomfortable.
He didn't leave?
No, he just
Then he
sat
didn't
there.
have to do the things that he had to do.
Thank you, exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
It also like...
Was he Danish?
He was.
We should throw him out. We should throw him to Vendsyssel.
Vendsyssel,
Let him have his own
Give them
country.
independence and then put all the...
Vendsyssel should be our Australia. Let's make Vendsyssel our Australia, where we put all the criminals.
Yeah, that's what England did to Australia, right?
Yeah.
They did. It was a penal colony with prisons.
Be a lot of Australian if you had to do it again.
Yes. I think the problem was that people arrived there and were like, wait, it's hot and sunny and there's beaches. This is not a punishment.
Yeah. Everybody in Australia is so much happier than everyone.
I can't remember where I heard this, but yeah.
Whereas if we put them to Vendsyssel, they wouldn't be
There
happier.
you go.
Yeah.
That's a real punishment.
That's a real I heard somewhere that Australian language is just a drunken British. Is that? Have you heard that?
It does sound like it, to be fair.
Because yes, that's where you put all the weirdos, the drunk, the criminals, and then they just like took their language, and that's what Australian sounds like now. Just
so it's like the British drunk
like
British distilled and transported.
Yeah.
I've heard that the southern US, they have their crazy hillbilly.
Yeah.
What y'all talking about? That kind of thing. that is the original medieval British accent. That's what I've heard. At least I used to teach British history at Århus Uni, and that was one of the theories behind it with the linguists. So that was the original accent that got transported over to the United States, and then what we have in Britain now is a kind of evolution. But that kind of puts things into perspective. Imagine Henry VIII talking like that. What y'all doing?
There's so many.
Howdy, partner.
There's so many films that we have to remake now with the American accent. That's gonna be so much fun.
Downton Abbey is a different series.
Different vibe.
Was that why you moved to Denmark to teach?
No. I came originally to study because you could study for free in certain countries on certain courses. This was, remember, when UK was in this thing called the European Union. I don't know if you remember.
Can't really remember. We forgot it.
It's a long time ago. It's like medieval times.
Rings a bell.
So that was possible. So then I moved and was, finished my study after, I think I took an extra year of just slab at A and messing around in Århus.
So you are Danish.
I'm now fully Danish. And then I ended up getting a job at Århus Uni, but not teaching what I studied. I think they gave it to me because of my accent. For real.
Okay.
They're like, we need a British history teacher. You're from Britain. I'm going, yes, I am. Yeah, I think about it.
Well, that I am.
So,
what did you study?
I studied something called human security.
Sounds made up.
So yeah, exactly. So the joke I have on stage about it is, if you want to understand the value of a human security degree, you should blow your nose into a tissue, and you now have a piece of paper more valuable than a human security degree. It's just nonsense. It's just sort of like, a bit of history, a bit of anthropology, sort of all mixed together type thing. Yeah. But I basically did it because I wanted to leave the UK, and a master's was free here. And it was something crazy, 90,000 a year in the UK. I think it's more than that now. So, not Danish crowns.
Okay,
so,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, I will do it in Denmark. And and I got a little bit of funding and was like, okay, I moved to Århus. Having never visited Århus, I moved there.
And did you like it?
I loved it, yeah. Yeah, it's so much fun.
Well, you did stay, yeah.
Stayed, more than 11 years there. Well, Århus is a great city, between 300 and 500,000 people. So it's not too big, it's not too small. Really good university city. A lot of international students. I think 10,000 a year or something.
Okay, wow.
Is it that many?
Yeah, it's a lot of internationals. And then on top of that, all the student population. I feel it's like half the city is students.
Yeah.
So really, really good fun.
And when did you get into comedy? Were you doing that already in England, or?
Yeah, so I always wanted to be a comedian. So even when I was little, 10, I really wanted to get into stand-up, and my mum was a big influence. She loved stand-up comedy, and we used to go and see a lot of live comedians. And living in London also helped because there's a good flow of comedians from all over the world. And then when I was 16, I started performing in North London in an area called Camden, which is kind of known for. There's a lot of comedy clubs in London, which means that any room or any surface can be a comedy club. Anyone who wants to make money is like, oh yeah, it used to be a taquitos restaurant, and now we do comedy. So I started performing, but I was terrible. It was really, really bad, and it was very, very competitive. I mean, just. You can be an amazing comedian in London and not make any money, type thing. So I did it for...
Why?
Just because it's such fierce competition. So many comedians.
You're performing for other comedians, or what?
It's a mix. I mean, there is money to be made. I used to promote a show in Leicester Square, for example. But by the time that people have paid tickets and you've paid the venue, I mean, you're handing out a little bit of money between all of the comedians. Yeah. Like maybe 100 crowns or 200 kronas or something like that. So I feel like the competition is really fierce, and also it's a lot less hoogly. So if you run a comedy club, you don't want people coming back who aren't good. So kind of, they have this thing called the Gong Show. Have you heard about that?
The Gong Show?
Yeah. No. It's very common concepts. They have a gong just off stage with somebody standing there, and the comedian goes up for open mic, and if they're not doing well, they hit the gong, and then the next person comes on. Like, you don't run out the clock. They're just like, you're shit, get out.
So I saw that. I also saw where you had what's it called? Like lights, like bulbs just with lights on, and if you get all three lights turned on, then you... It's
like a reality show, but just
Yeah, but like, exactly when you get the red buzzer, like it's American talent for just comedians.
That's really competitive and really
that's horrible.
That's horrible.
So you got to imagine me, ginger, pathetic, going up there trying to be funny, failing miserably. I think between 6 and 10 months I just give up, and was like, okay, I love comedy, but I'm not going to do this. Then I moved to Denmark and started, really like silly little observations about you guys. And
there's a lot.
There's a lot. And then and then I just was, at some point I was like, it wasn't that I wanted to do comedy, it's just I wanted to like express what I was feeling, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then I found that there was a comedy club called Torps Keller in Århus, and I met Jacob Tarnhøj, who was very welcoming, and I went down there, and at that time it was this weird, just before the big wave of comedy, so like Lasse Madsen was there, and Jonas Kjærsgaard, and Victor Lander, and Kasper Gros, and Jonas Mogensen, like all of these guys were just about to become really big.
Yeah.
And then I arrive, like the odd, weird one, where people are like, oh no, who's this sweaty ginger Englishman? And then started performing, and that was about 2-3 months after I arrived at the end of 2012. And then it just grew and grew and grew. And then at some point I started to feel really bad about doing English comedy at Danish nights. Because I felt like there were people who really vibed with it. And then I also got the feeling I was kind of invading some people's space. So then me and Jacob talked about, okay, well, there's a free night at the comedy club every Sunday. So we started an English night. And I had very little confidence in it. I said we should do it once a month. And he said, no, we do it every week. And it became a huge success. I mean, very, very early on, we were having 150 guests, audience.
And that's a
week.
filled...
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
But that makes really sense, since you have 10,000 exchange students that probably also want to see comedy.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
And there's also an international... community that I feel it can be starved of English events that aren't. The way I would put it is that as an international in Denmark, one thing that exhausts me is that every event is like about how to integrate and like 5 ways to meet a Dane. And it's like, I get all of that shit, but also can we just have fun and be human? Like not every event has to be like kissing each other's asses. Like let's just have comedy about life and fun and have an event that's not about being international. So that was also really fun. And it also meant we attracted like Danes. 25-30% of our audience was Danish.
Oh, really?
Yeah. A lot of Danes. And also the performers, it was really nice. So a lot of the Danish comedians who were comfortable came over and started performing in English. I got Mahamul Harbana to perform once in English.
How did it go?
It was amazing. It was so good.
Oh, really?
I mean, for me, it was amazing. I tried to watch clips of him online, and my Danish isn't great. I will read the subtitles. Of course, it's funny, but to see him speaking English, I got Melvin Kukuza to perform.
He's actually not that bad in English, right?
Oh, he's insanely good.
Yeah.
I mean, I met him on the first night that he tried stand-up comedy.
Okay, funny.
And within 1 month, he did a 60,000 crowns job for McDonald's at one julefrokost.
His story is the most insane one in Denmark, at least.
It's like every comedian's dream.
Like everybody's dream, just like be the go straight to the top in half a year or something. In any business, that would be nice, right?
Yeah, to go like a first time playing football and then.
Yeah,
sign
and then
a contract with Copenhagen after a month.
Yeah, exactly. You start at Vendsyssel day one. 6 months later, they're like, oh, you just signed for Real Madrid. Yeah. It was literally like that. But it was great. It just got a lot of comedians to come over. And then also it fostered kind of an English comedy scene. So there was not just myself, but other comedians who were growing. And it just became a really good time. And it's also great to have an open mic once a week where you can go and, practice and get really, really good. So that was fueling my stand-up shows. It was a great, it was a great experience. That was what the hardest thing about leaving Århus was saying goodbye to that open mic.
Yeah.
And those people,
How's it been moving to Copenhagen?
It's amazing. I mean, I do love Århus. I just kind of, it just became too small for me. I think...
Take that, Århus. Small little people.
It is a good time, but also my life has changed. I have 2 kids, and I felt like we were always doing the same small activities with children. So I just wanted a new lease of life. My wife also really wanted a new lease of life and for her career to grow. So we were like, okay, finally, let's make the move. And then you can't go back, actually. That's what they don't tell you. So they close, like store belt, as you cross, you're like, oh shit, it's only one way. Yeah. Like you can't, and you're blacklisted. So, but I have actually been back to Århus recently for a visit, and I can feel the sort of passive aggression.
Yeah, they'll never look at you the same.
Never.
No.
All the people you see are like, "Oh, you're back, are you? Okay. No, we can't stay with us. No, sorry.
Somebody wants a hot dog for cheaper, huh? So 60 krona is too much, huh? All right. I'm gonna pay with cash again.
But in that, like in a lot of way, Denmark and England, like they're quite similar in that. Like I would think that the humor is quite the same. Like the worse you talk to your friends, the better you like them, and also we call it janteloven.
Janteloven, yeah.
Yeah, that's this. Do you have a word for that in England?
I mean, we know of we call it the law of Yander.
Oh, okay.
But it's not so instilled in our culture. But I see it versus like the US, for example. I definitely see a closer connection between the UK and Denmark.
Yeah,
definitely. In terms of humor, I think one thing that the Danes and also the British are really good at is just making fun of themselves and not taking it too seriously.
Yeah, sarcasm is the
perfect sarcasm. Really good, like what's it called, like self-deprecation.
Yeah,
and it's okay to just make fun of it because I think the Danes especially have deep down like a very good sense of self. And a confidence with like that we are good people, and I think that's maybe what the Americans sometimes are lacking. Like you make fun of them and it like hurts their childhood, and they're like,
Yeah.
But I also sometimes I like that. I like that you can say out loud that you feel like you're better than someone at something. It's not. I don't think it's a bad thing, because in Denmark you always have to like be aware that you're not important. And I guess it might feel nice to feel important.
Too humble.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes.
It's true. You want you've talked a lot about you want like a very confident comedian to come in and be like a comedian that comes in and makes fun of everybody else and not himself.
Yeah, because I think we're missing that, and we don't have that in them. For example, also we were at the Up Festival Award thing, and Mikkel Rask did a really, really fun roast, and it was just really cool to see somebody like acting really
confident.
Confident.
Confident. Yeah.
And I don't know, just own it. I don't know, and sometimes, at least at the open mics, it's a lot about talking how either how dumb you are, or how fat you are, or how poor you are, and sometimes it would be nice to like somebody come in and have an opinion, maybe. At least on the open mic, I feel like that's. But I guess it makes sense if you're a new comedian, you don't want to come in and be like, I know something you don't. Maybe that's maybe I don't know. Doesn't make sense at all. I just like.
Nope.
No.
All right.
You saved me there. You definitely saved me there.
I don't know if you know this, but me and Conrad actually have I wouldn't call it a fight, but there is some tension. There is some beef.
Okay.
Because as Conrad found out, I work for Dan Hustle.
Yeah.
And Conrad has made a joke on
Dan Hustle.
On Dan Hustle.
Oh yeah, that's
no
true.
way.
And it wasn't a nice
about
one.
That. Yeah,
it wasn't.
Are you talking shit about his workplace?
Talk shit about my workplace.
What do you think about Dan Hustle?
It was fair enough. Can you remind me of the joke? What is the joke
It's
exactly?
about the. Yeah, I've totally forgot about this, but yeah, I have a bit about the open prisons of Denmark, and that you're allowed to leave, but you have to be back for curfew, and like it's like after school for criminals. It's less like prison and more like Dan hostel. You know?
But that's true though.
The funny thing is, I said to one of my, it's not my boss, but it's a guy in the back office, and I was because he's a big comedian. Fan of comedians, I found out, and I was like, well, I have a podcast where I interview comedians. He was like, you do? Which wasn't the best thing for me.
You watch all
he's a
comedy.
big fan of comedian. I have a podcast where I interview comedians. You do? Oh. No, but I told him I was having Conrad Molden, and he was like, oh, he made a joke about Dan Hustle. And I was like, oh, is it that serious?
Oh, so there's like a beef between us.
I was like, is he a bad name in Dan Hustle? Will I be fired for this? But then no, he said you were hilarious.
It's funny you mention it because, for example, I make a lot of jokes about Aalborg Aquavit, That was one of the first, my first julefrokost. I was like, this stuff is poison, you know? So I've made a lot of jokes. I did an interview on Godmorgen Denmark where I described it as drinking benzene, like on television. And Aalborg Aquavit actually reached out to me and was like, we really found it really, really funny. Do you want to do promo for us? So now we've been, I can't reveal too much, but we've been doing some adverts that will come out later with them. But it was really funny that something where I was actually a little bit scared that maybe I went too far, you know, and because it's you know, there's like a line, and to literally describe somebody's product as like a poisonous gasoline. But they thought it was really funny.
That's so clever.
So what you're saying is that if we want more sponsors, we should just shit on every single company.
Yeah, in a very honest way.
Who pays a lot? IKEA?
IKEA, I like IKEA. Prime tastes like shit, though.
Prime is terrible.
Yeah. I've never actually tried it.
No, it is actually terrible.
Yeah, but people don't understand it because it's electrolytes. So people drink it as they thought it would be like a energy drink, but it's more for if you actually done like something like ran for 20 kilometers, or if you worked out for an hour and a half and you need to get your salt and water back in your body, and then you drink it.
Okay,
and then it actually tastes better and feels more satisfying in your system. But if you drink it just as a soda or as an energy drink, it tastes like shit.
But I also heard that since Denmark has so many rules, which is also why McDonald's is terrible in the US but really good in Denmark. Like, we have a lot of rules of how, like, what we can put in drinks. So Prime wouldn't be the same in England or in the US.
So it's even more sugary in the US.
I don't think it's more sugary, but it probably tastes a lot better because they can put a lot of stuff in it that probably isn't allowed in Denmark.
Is it China where they have that Red Bull that has like horrifically dangerous levels of chemicals that Europe would never accept?
And it's like a different bottle. Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Is that a thing?
And even but the metal in the can feels different and isn't allowed in Europe.
Yeah,
okay.
Like China, anything goes, right?
And makes them work for 20 hours.
Thing you don't think about when you travel between countries. Because I went to one time I went to Germany and I was like, went to the gas station. I got a Red Bull and I was like, afterwards I was feeling sick. I was like, what is happening? It's because they just have like twice the amount of caffeine in their Red Bulls as we do in Denmark.
Holy guacamole!
So never trust countries, especially Germany.
Yeah,
it's my rule, my number one rule. And I forgot it.
Do you perform otherwhere than in Denmark?
I actually just did a tour around Europe.
Yeah.
So did five countries. Did a show in Paris and London, Oslo, Stockholm and Rotterdam for like a mini European tour. And the plan was to film it in London, but it all fell through. But I will film it in February in Copenhagen.
Cool.
That show, yeah.
How was it to perform in London?
It was amazing, yeah. The London show was really, really good fun. And of all the tour shows on that tour, it sold out the quickest. So that was really a really strange experience to feel like, okay, I'm not living there and I don't really visit, but I have a presence, you know.
Well, that's cool.
It was really cool, yeah. And there was also Danes at the show, and they were really excited.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
So it's still the same show you do in London as you do in Denmark?
No. I wrote. Basically, I worked with Live Nation to create it. So there was this. It's going to be in Europe. So then I sat down and I wrote a show that was more universal. So it's more about the individual countries. So I make fun of Germany and France and Netherlands and Sweden and stuff like that, but in a more accessible way. So I don't know if you know, there is an Icelandic comedian called Ari Eljan. He has a show, a special.
He has a Netflix special, right?
He does have a Netflix special called "Pardon My Icelandic." He's very good. He has a lot of material about Denmark. You will enjoy it. And what's really inspiring about his show is he talks about Finland, for example, and the Finnish language. And even if you've not been and you don't know anything about it, it's funny. Okay. So this was a big inspiration. So when I sat down, I was like, okay, I have to find things that people who maybe they haven't been to Paris before, they don't know something about France, but they can relate to. And and wrote this hour-long. I was kind of proud of that, actually. You know, when you work on a project where you put a border around what you can normally do, and it actually is a bit scary, and then suddenly you go in a new direction. So I was excited about that. And the plan with the special is to put it on the internet so that non-Danes or people who don't know about Denmark can watch a show with me and appreciate it.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, it was really good fun.
How was it to? So sorry to say again. It was Paris, London, and
Oslo, Stockholm, and Rotterdam.
You went to Sweden?
I did go to... That was a weird one.
Why would you go to Sweden?
Exactly. That was definitely the weirdest of them, because at the other shows, I felt like there were a lot of either Danes or people who had some connection to Denmark, like they visited or knew someone or something like this. And in Sweden, there was one Dane. And at the beginning, when I said who's from Denmark, there was silence and then one like tiny clap in the corner.
Yeah.
And even at the beginning of the show, when I went up, I said, I live in Denmark, and the audience, I could feel them pull back, and I was like, but I come in peace. And they all laugh. But I could feel it in the show. There's a bit in the show where I talk about living in Denmark, and I could feel that unless it was being critical, they weren't really interested in listening to it.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, there is a real, like, East Coast, West Coast beef between you guys.
I think the Swedes hate us a lot more than we hate them.
I mean, if you're the better country, you don't really mind, right?
Oh, we're going there. No, but they are ugly people. No.
That's the problem. They're not that ugly.
Yeah,
I feel like it's funny because I feel like Sweden and Norway they don't clash at all, and we and Norway don't clash at all. But I don't mind.
I don't actually think Norwegians like us either.
Do you think we're the problem?
I really
what do you think? You've been around now. You can look at from.
I love this though. This like working it out. Like, wait, are we the problem? I would say that the connection between Norway and Denmark for me is. I know I'm an outsider, but I think it's so hyggeligt. I think it's so cute that these two countries have such similar, so many similarities in so many ways. And at least the Norwegians I talk to love Denmark.
That's good.
Childhood memories, and they talk about. They even have this saying, "Det er godt at være en norsk mand i Danmark." Like, it's good to be a Norwegian here, because they come and everything is cheaper, and they can understand everything, and they understand the culture. You know?
Yeah,
I think
that
it's
makes
really.
sense.
I'm so jealous. I wish that Britain had that. We just have enemies.
Just around.
Nobody likes Britain.
Even Wales, Scotland, places hate England severely.
But England, gotta be honest, a little annoying.
I completely agree. Not
Especially
a good track
if
record.
you see, but it's just also like football. Definitely the most annoying people.
Oh yeah,
I don't agree with. I don't. Do you watch football?
a little bit.
I also watch a little.
But like
bit.
at the Euros, it's always. I feel like every time you hear the news about England, it's always like either arrogance, which they never win, so arrogant, and then the fans are just brutal.
Yeah, the fans are brutal. I thought you meant Premier League, and I was like, that's the best.
Premier League is the best. There's so much about England that's the best.
Yeah, sorry.
That's why we want to.
But yeah, international. Yeah, we had a big beef with England in the Euros in 2021.
Oh yeah, I remember the infamous penalty.
Yeah,
and Kane shoots and he saves it.
Yeah,
he is a Moor, and then fucking Kane kicked it in.
He is a Moor.
Who are you supporting in that game?
Oh, definitely them.
Really?
I can prove it. I did an interview with Århus Stiftstidende. Am I pronouncing it correctly? The newspaper. You can find it online. Where the headline is, "I really hope England lose." There's a picture of me in a Denmark jersey, and then my son at the he's one at the time, and he's wearing a Denmark Peppa Pig football T-shirt that we bought, and the two of us are.
That's a smart move. That was smart.
Smart move, yeah.
There's like all the celebrities coming out and supporting different politicians because they know if they get in, they maybe have a little bit more power than you trying to save yourself in the future. Yeah, that's smart.
It was a very smart move. And then I remember that when England then got through, that it wasn't just Italy versus England; it was the world versus England.
Yeah, but it really was. I hated Italy at the start of that tournament. I've never supported a country that much in my life. But it's just, I don't know what it is. I think it's just
I think it's the fans. They ruined it.
It is definitely the fans, because I like all the players of England.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but the football fan. I think what people forget is that a lot of Britain is very poor. They're very impoverished cities, and people really don't have a lot to live for, so they like cling onto the England team. They're like, I might not have a job, but Harry Kane's gonna win the World Cup,
and it makes so much sense. But still, I'm gonna hate it. No,
I'm with you. And the whole it's coming home, and it's like, guys,
it's never been home.
It's never been home, and also maybe say that after you've won. Right? Don't jinx it.
I like that.
We have the same in Denmark. We have the 4-4-0 thing.
We won one time.
One time we won 4-0, and then we still shout that.
We still shouted, yeah.
Every time our national team plays.
We can be behind 1-0 and we're gonna shout 4-4.
Was that the 92 victory?
No.
It was in the 21 Euros.
Yeah.
We won. Which country was it? We won.
Well, we beat Wales, I think, 4-0.
Okay, that's what people. Okay, guys, come on. 4-0 against the Wales.
Yeah.
5-0
I think it might have been Wales.
That's what we also forgot that all the games we won was against pretty bad teams.
Yeah, we never actually.
We had a really easy way to the semifinal.
Yeah, no, I think it was more the Eriksen thing and stuff like that. That's what. Made it.
You think we had that? What made our team better, or what?
No, just made it all bigger than it probably was.
Oh yeah, that's
made
true.
it seem bigger than it probably was.
Kind of like 92 when, the fact that Yugoslavia dropped out. It was kind of like this underdog moment, right?
Yeah.
We didn't qualify, and now we're back, and now we're going to have this huge comeback.
Yeah. I loved that time. That was such a good
That
year.
was I think
92.
if you ask, I think 90% of Danes would say that's the best summer in a very, very long time.
But most of the Danes wouldn't be there would be so many. We weren't alive in 92.
No, I thought. Sorry, sorry. The summer 2021. Sorry, my bad.
Oh,
sorry. Yeah. But yeah, also
92 was the best year for me.
I think 92.
I got laid. I got laid in 92. That was a good year. That was a really good year.
You haven't got laid since.
I haven't got laid since. No, that was it. I peaked in 92.
I'm actually a little bit Wales. Have I told you that?
Are you a little bit Wales?
Yeah, Wales.
Like genetically?
Yeah.
Okay.
He thinks he's a country.
I'm
actually a little bit Wales.
As if you own land there. I'm a little bit. No, I'm 1/16 of.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
But how does that actually make sense? Because then, how much Danish are you?
The rest. No, I'm also a little bit Icelandic.
Huh?
Like 1/4.
But then you're gonna be a little bit of everything, and then you're gonna be like 1/8.
No, but I think
till
till 1/16 you can still count it in your DNA. I would say.
Okay.
You can see it. I have this like one crooked teeth. That's my British part.
That's amazing.
That's the only thing I have. Yeah, and then I'm the palest man in the world. Like Icelandic, Wales, and Danish. That's like I'm see-through basically. That's that's my.
Yeah, the
genetic.
sun is your enemy.
Yeah, that's.
Rain is your friend.
Yeah, I actually don't mind rain at all. That's I hate wind. Wind is the worst.
Okay.
Yeah, that's because if you're biking in Copenhagen, that's the worst. You can deal with rain by putting on a jacket.
Rain is terrible when you're biking. What do you mean?
If you can put on clothes.
I never wear
Have you heard the
clothes when I'm
concept of
biking. You know this.
I mean, rain is brutal, but I think the thing with the wind that really annoys me in Denmark is that no matter where you go, it's always coming into your face.
Yeah.
Right? Like you were cycling towards Valby because you really want to visit, right? It's amazing. And it's coming towards you and you're like, okay, the wind is going east. I'm going to change direction now. And you turn. Like it could be 90, 180 degrees and it's still hitting you in the face.
Yeah.
I have that every time I bike by the lakes. Doesn't matter which way I'm biking. It's always the...
How do we have so many? How do we have so many mountains? I was about to say. How do we have no mountain? And still, I feel like I'm riding up all the time.
That's you. That's a you problem.
That's probably a me problem. Yeah.
Then it's good you don't live in Århus because I don't understand for the second flattest country in the world that the Vikings were like, yeah, we're going to found this city at the bottom of a fucking hill.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's fucking terrible.
Go 5 kilometers south. Half the fucking city is on a hill.
Yeah, that's true.
I have this silly
really
joke where I
annoying.
say there's this 90-degree cliff called Randersvej.
Yeah.
And it goes up to the university. Why? Every morning. Torture.
But then you can have the
make it
heaviest
more
ride home, though. You
Yeah.
just be like, whee, all the way back home. That's nice, though. I like that.
Yeah, but you're already happy that school is over.
That's true. Are you still happy that school is over at that age when you go to university? Is that
That's a
still,
good question.
like put on your
Yeah,
school
I think you
bag, go buy some candy on the way home. Is that a thing?
Yeah, sure.
We have we both
We don't study. That's
yeah.
quite obvious. I think.
Our education ended in a gymnasium, so yeah.
Yeah.
He tried though. He tried for half a year.
No, more. 1.5.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I might be able to beat you though. I was at Via University Aarhus for 3 days
Oh,
before dropping out.
What happened? Like why?
what happened?
You got bullied.
Yeah. I was like, I can't take the ginger abuse. the problem was that the first 2 days is like intro. So it's like guy all shots and dancing and, table football and eating chips, which was great. And then the third day was, okay, now actually, like, we need to start work. And then they were like, open your computers and open some program. It was some engineering degree. And they were like, oh, everybody open CAD, CAM or whatever. And I was like, I have like video games on my computer. Like, and then the guy starts doing stuff and everyone in the room started doing stuff on their computer, and I was just, I can't do this. Like, I'm not. This like, what's that? Is it the El Camino? That walk in Spain? That really long walk. It's like step one, you put your shoe on there. It's a bit tight. I was like, fuck this. Like, that was literally me. I even left in the break in the middle of the first lesson.
No way.
Yeah, and everybody in my class was like, "Don't leave. You're the biggest mistake you'll ever make in your whole life." I was like, I'm gonna go.
Best decision you took.
Definitely best decision. I was like.
You were like, you have to upgrade Word. Then you're like, Jesus Christ.
It was really awkward as well because I when I first moved to Denmark, I didn't realize that I could get SU. So I didn't apply for it, even though I was working like an idiot. So when I signed up for VIA, I was like, I'm definitely going to get SU while I'm working at the uni while I'm doing this. And then when I quit, I went down to the SU office at VIA and said, hey, I'm sorry, I'm leaving, so I need to like undo all of the stuff. And the woman was like, no, don't worry, we didn't even start your application because it's the first hour of day one.
How quickly do you think we work?
She's surprised. She's like, the coffee machine hasn't even turned on. Like.
That's incredible. So you did all the fun part of starting a study and then you just left.
And then I quit, yeah.
How many times can you do that? Like, when will they catch on?
It's a good question, actually. I think you have X amount of free education, right? 5 years or something?
But 5 years, that's a lot of times you can drink a lot and then quit.
You could just keep doing the intro weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. It sounds like a Netflix series that we should make.
Actually, I think I have
discovered.
I actually think I have a little bit of a script that's about that. About some guys who just want to do the party part of starting at uni. I think I have a little script on that, actually.
Oh, so you're saying we're stealing your idea now?
No, let's elaborate.
What if me and Conrad just do it better than you
You
did?
probably will, because I'm not that good at writing, but I think I have something about that, because because I think me trying to live my own dream, because again, I'm not planning to study ever, but I'm so jealous at all the parties that they go to.
Yeah.
So that should be a show. I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna send you a script now. I'll look for it. It's probably terrible, but it's. I like the idea.
Well, you've only done a year and a half, right? And you've got no years, so that's plenty of time to enroll and do loads of parties.
We should.
I think it's a great idea.
It would be so fun to like at 25 just start like.
It's gonna be bad if we get like. So like we end up being 50 years old and enrolling and we're like, yeah, let's party, guys.
But is there an age limitation? Is there, if you're 30, can you still start and get?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. When I was teaching at the uni, there was always the mature students.
Yeah.
And it was really funny because I feel like some mature students, they really overemphasize how old they are. Like you would just be like, oh, okay, and who was, the king, this king of England? They put up their hand and they're like, well, I'm clearly the oldest in the room. I would know.
And then they are always not the smartest or the brightest person. I had the oldest one where I started. He said he couldn't
just
remember.
Make that clear. You have one example.
Yeah,
for that
one example. He was probably pretty smart, but he we were like, I think we were all in a group, and he was like he kept saying how bad he was at remembering names, and then he at some point says, I think I remember your name. He was pointing at me, and he goes, "You're Per, right?"
Yeah.
And for 1.5 years, my name was Per. Just because that was hilarious. But he knew one name.
Dude, just like, yes.
And he got it not even close.
We had a Ukrainian girl in my class in the gymnasium, and her name was Daria, so Maria with D.
Yeah.
And we had a really, really old Danish teacher. He was probably 70. Like, he was so old. And he read out all the pupils' names. And then he came to her and he was like, Karim. And we all cried laughing because he was our Danish teacher. And he just looked at the name.
He was a Danish teacher.
I feel like his whole world fell apart because it was like, it was Maria, the most Danish name in the world, but with a D, so I think his whole system just rebooted. He just yelled out some name, Karim. So her name was Karim for quite some time as well.
Dumped her on the first day.
But he was so cute. He was like the cutest oldest man, and we would just all play computer games like in his when we had him, because he couldn't hear us yelling, playing Trackmania, and like pushing each other. I think he could only see the first row, and then he could hear like himself. So it was like, it was the best. That was the best time.
But you never learned anything.
It was Danish. We knew.
You knew already.
At that time, we're like,
you can't teach Danish to Danish people. That's silly.
Yeah, that's silly.
That's like taking a dark Blastoise and being like, okay, fight this Pikachu.
Well, I'm gonna say I've seen you try to spell things, and you probably should have listened just a little.
I have the same problem with
words.
Yeah, no, but first of all, I have a little bit of a lisp when I speak English, and that's because I don't know why.
You're doing great.
It's the Welsh.
It's the Welsh. Is it okay?
That's just dialect, man.
That's so nice to finally know why that is. That's now okay. So
Martin
we went
was
to
talking about how he becomes worse at speaking English as long as he the further he does it.
Because I get comfortable, so I don't. And now I stop thinking about the words because we're just like having fun and talking. So I'm just getting This is the same at the high school. We had the 2 first months. I could hear and feel my English getting better because we spoke it all the time. And then the last 2 months, nobody could have a yeah, exactly. Yeah. Can you see? A dialogue. I couldn't have a dialogue with anyone because I just forgot all the stuff and I just started saying it in Danish because I didn't care anymore.
Wow, maybe you went full circle.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
You become so good at English that suddenly you're in Danish again.
Yeah.
You went through the wall.
Yeah.
I won. I won. Maybe that's the thing. I know my mom grew up in Australia, and I have, and her sister lives in Canada, and this is my English. This sucks so much.
You're not that bad.
This is one thing that with the Danes, I have a bit in a show about this, where Danes are so humble when they talk about their English, to this point where it's too much, where they're like, I'm so sorry that my English is not this good. I apologize from the deepest parts of my soul. And then I constantly want to say to people, please go to England. Please, because people think it's Downton Abbey. It's not. It's a man with 3 teeth and a neck tattoo pushing a shopping trolley and screaming. It really is. The amount of, when I go back to England, the amount of people I talk to, it's their first language and they can't speak it. Mate, I go, oh my God.
Which accent is the most difficult to understand in England?
Oh, there's loads of crap. I mean, the Welsh accent is insane.
Yeah,
I can't impersonate it, but it's completely bananas. Obviously, Scottish, Irish.
I'll give it a try.
What happened with your eyes when you did it? Something happened with your eyes.
It's a Welsh thing. It's a Welsh thing. You won't get it. Oh, you would probably.
Yeah, I do get it. And it's quite racist, actually.
Yeah.
Don't worry, they don't have internet in Wales.
Which country do you bully the most?
Do you bully?
As an English person?
Yeah.
I mean, we definitely make fun of the Welsh a lot. The whole idea that there's they spend too much time with their sheep and all of that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
The French, obviously. I think there's a very big rivalry between the English. I'll give you a good example. What was funny with the European tour was that I never got asked to show my passport once, except when I went from the UK into France. Mm-hmm. And it was so funny going through the passport queue because my wife is from Hungary, so she has EU passport. We're standing together in the queue holding our passports, and a French official came up to us and he said, "You sir, you need to go in this queue." And it said EU only, and he can see my passport. And I said, "But I have British." And he's like, "Get in the queue." So we're now separated. My wife goes into a completely different area where she goes through in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm now in the EU only queue with a lot of other confused British people. We get to the front and there's a machine to check your passport. And I scan it. Obviously, it says not accepted. And a different official comes over and is like, "You're in the wrong queue, sir. You have to go over to the non-EU queue." And there's a picture of an EU flag like crossed out with like twat written underneath with the longest queue of depressed British people. And then at the front was and this guy loved his job so much. Every British person, he's like, "Yes, you need a stamp, yes." And then he's like stamping, with a picture of France winning the World Cup or something, "Yes, here you go. Welcome to the European Union." I think the French love the fact that we left. They love it so much.
I think we all kind of did, because there was such a bad choice, and we can all point fingers at you now and be like,
it was so obviously a bad decision.
Yeah, it was like literally score. It's like a team going, let's score an own goal, because that will be a goal. And you're like, no.
But it also seems like that's probably because the media I read and watch, but like it also seems like you all think it was a bad decision.
That was a terrible decision.
But isn't it like the same as the US seems like they're all Democrats, but then Trump wins?
Yeah, because we watched DR telling what CNN told them, kind of. Yeah. So that's kind of like our news, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Do you think the first guy that was sending you over to the wrong queue, do you think he was just having a laugh?
Oh, definitely, yeah. He loves it. Yeah, he's probably like, I'm just going to go piss off my friend Jean-Paul down there by sending all these British people so he can have a go at them.
That's hilarious.
I do love the rivalry and the animosity that there is between the English and the French. I think it's really funny because the French really dislike the English. I mean, like with this.
But does the English dislike the French that much?
I think it's because the thing is when French people come to England and they try to communicate with us, obviously their English is probably pretty, this is like old school, this is like 2000s knowledge, but they will try to speak in English. But obviously when the English go to France, we don't learn any French, even though we do it in school.
Yeah.
So we walk around like, where's the fish and chips? And all the French people will get really angry with us. But the French will make an effort to learn English to come to England, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like they're trying to learn English.
But
if
then again,
France,
I feel like
it's so difficult.
Spanish, French, Italians, they'll expect you to try in their language. Whereas we would never expect anybody to try Danish.
No. I speak, but
why would you? It's a terrible language.
Oh, it's a wonderful language.
No,
I think the global language should be Danish.
The global?
Yeah.
But there's no rules?
There are no rules. Okay, maybe it shouldn't be the global language.
No, let's go with that. Let's definitely go with that.
I have an idea, though. I think it should be the language of the winter. Because everything becomes really hyggeligt in Danish when things get cold, right? It's like julehygge and elsker. And like everything starts to make sense in Danish, right? And everything becomes kind of hyggeligt. Like in the summer, it doesn't make sense. Like, solen skinner. It's like, I don't know. That sounds like it's cloudy.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good language for, like, when it's dark and cold and you need to light candles.
Yeah, okay.
I'm up for that.
Yeah.
We had to come up with a lot of like nice and fun things to do in that, like, because that half of the year, probably more, maybe 80% of the
11
year.
months.
Yeah.
It's just so we are not all depressed.
I'm kind of getting into the julehygge now.
Are you? It's too early.
I ate vaniljekranse yesterday.
No, that's not allowed.
Yeah,
that's too early.
In November?
I have a thing with I wait with risalamande. I wait with risalamande. I probably only eat once a year, and that's juleaften. But æbleskiver.
You're a risalamande kind of guy. Or kind of family.
Yeah. What do you
mean? Risengrød.
Yeah, but risengrød, that's just in December. You eat that like for like breakfast and lunch and dinner. In the whole December. And then risalamande, that's for juleaften.
Oh.
Right?
That's how they do it.
How do you do it?
How do
you celebrate Christmas?
Yeah. This year we will be in Denmark for it, which will be... We try to do the julefrokosty things, even though no one in the family is from Denmark.
Yeah?
So we try to. But I've been to Danish julefrokost, yeah.
Huh?
Oh, and you're going to be the popular now if you just get shipped a bunch of aquavit. And you just come
exactly. I actually have a bottle of... We went to a place called, I'm going to mispronounce it, Lukstør. It's on the other side of Limfjord from Tisted.
Yeah.
And the reason we went there was because we picked the what's it called, little plants and berries and things that they put in the aquavit.
Yeah.
So I have a bottle of aquavit that I made. It's called the Canal Symphonie flask. Yeah, so we pick all the little things and put them in, and I have a bottle of aquavit that I made.
Oh, that's cool.
Which was really cool from that area, because you can buy your own bottle and put bacon and chocolate and whatever the hell you want into it.
Yeah.
So this julefrokost that we were having, I will get to bring that out.
That's
and
cool.
I bet you it's going to taste like benzene.
Yeah, well, they all do.
That's full circle again.
I just gave I can say this because my dad is turning 60 on Friday.
Wow, that's so old. Jesus Christ. Okay, come on. No, that's really old.
That's really old. My mum is 75.
That's also really old.
That's also really...
But yeah, he looks good
I just
for a
gave-
very old man, though. So let's go.
Very old. Okay, and what are you going to do for his 60th?
I gave him. We're gonna have a party. Well, not that. Like his family is coming, and I'm going to Jutland, and
Oh, you're going to go? Is he also in Horsens?
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And I bought him a make your own whiskey kit,
Oh, amazing.
That's actually
could be
very
fun.
cool. Yeah, that's a good.
and I bought him a wine from the year he was born.
Oh, you did that?
That's like the
Isn't
best
that
son
pretty
ever.
cool?
That's so nice.
Isn't that cool?
That's really cool.
I thought it was pretty cool,
Yeah,
but not all people I've told it to are like, "Oh, that's awesome."
That's a really nice gift.
I think
Also,
it's
if you
a
know
really cool
if
gift.
you know his dad, he drinks a lot. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, is your dad an alcoholic? Great gift. I got him a
And
suitcase full
dad,
of rum.
my dad is also just the smallest kid in so many ways. He's also really scary, but he's also the smallest kid ever. So he just loves opening presents. Like that's probably the best part of it.
That's so cute.
So I just bought him a lot of small bottles of wines that I can pay so he gets a lot of presents, because he doesn't really care what's in it. He just wants a lot of presents.
That's cute.
That's really nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
isn't it cute?
Yes, I like that. First time I met his dad. Was that the first time I met him? Probably.
I don't know what
The
you're
second time
about
I met
to say.
him. What?
You think I can read minds, but I only read female minds.
Jesus Christ. But like, I think it was the second time I met him. We played around the table, ping pong.
Where you walk around.
Yeah, I walk around. Yeah, that was so terrible. And I don't know. I did the worst smash in.
So I was on
Okay.
the team with my brother or my
Yeah.
mom, and you were on the team with my
your
dad.
dad. Yeah. And I had to smash or something, and I didn't hit the ball.
And my team was terrible.
I was terrible.
Awful.
I was awful, and I didn't hit the ball, and then I hit the table, and the bat cracked up,
yeah.
and it. and for some, I don't know how. I have no idea how this happened, but it flew into his dad's penis.
Wait, what?
So I basically hit his dad in the penis with a table tennis bat.
You didn't just hit my dad in the you broke the bat. You missed the ball, which is probably what he was most angry about, and you just to finish it off threw something in his balls.
Yeah, and I was just so embarrassed that I didn't realize what had happened, and that his dad was like lying on the ground behind me. I was just like, oh, this is so terrible. And then I looked at my hand, and I only had the like where you hold your hand.
I'm glad we're not a couple, because I wouldn't have been allowed to bring you back home if that was the first time you met my parents.
Yeah, so. And again, his dad is a really raging alcoholic, so it's really scary too.
He's not a raging alcoholic. Let's start like he does not drink that much.
For him being 60, that's really impressive.
He's gonna get so angry
Yeah,
if he hears
I'm
this. I'm glad my mom is the only one that listens to the
Maybe we
podcast, which
should-
we have to mention.
Oh,
My mom likes to be mentioned in the podcast.
Oh, shout out.
Yeah, thank you. That's it.
that's it. Should we? Maybe it's an hour and 10 minutes. Or
We need to talk about your new show,
Oh, yes.
Oh yes, of course.
which
of course.
is a bad thing because we end up always doing this at the end of the podcast, which means people have to listen to the full one before they will hear what they might actually be here for.
That's good. Saving the end for the last. It's like the candy at the end of the supermarket, right? Oh. That's why they put that there.
Exactly.
It's not avocados on the way out.
No,
you know what I mean?
they're trying to make that illegal now.
Really?
Avocados at the end.
No, but yeah, candy in the end of the supermarkets because they're nudging people
Why?
to eat bad stuff.
But that's what I make. That's the only reason I go to the supermarket.
That's
is to
why
be
I'm there.
excited for the end. It's like
You can
also
just,
you
like-
don't have the best part of the movie at the start.
Some movies have. Like,
Also, where would I put all the stuff I actually need to eat if I filled up the basket with candy from the start of my
yeah, that's actually smart.
supermarket?
So first you
trip?
get the stuff you're supposed to, and then you can like top it off with candy.
That's the reason I
Yeah.
don't just buy a lot of candy, because it can't fit in the basket. If I start with the candy, then I won't be able to fit the lettuce.
Okay, so you think it's a really progressive way to do it.
Yeah, it's gonna ruin the system.
I'm gonna look forward to you and like go after them and make that argument. That's gonna be amazing.
You have a show coming out. When
do.
is the premiere?
It is around this time next year, so November 2025.
And the name?
It's called King Carrot.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, I'm very happy with it. It's because I have a bit in an old show that is on TV2 where I translate directly these sayings from Danish into English, because there's a lot of old people that, you know, they speak this kind of crazy Danglish.
Yeah.
And so I have, you know, some silly ones. There's no cow on the ice and this kind of thing. And then one of them was, you don't come around here playing King Carrot.
Yeah.
And after the show, a fan came up to me and we were signing something and chatting. And then they looked at me and it was an amazing moment. And just looked me in the eyes and said, I have the name for your new show. Call it King Carrot. And then they walked off and I was like, fuck, that's genius.
That's so cool. That's so
really
cool that
cool.
you're using it.
And he will now be suing you.
Exactly. Now he wants like 10%.
Yeah. Okay. Is it where are you full everywhere in Denmark?
Pretty much I don't think we have Bornholm on the schedule at the moment.
But why
it
would
might
you?
happen.
It's
Yeah,
too close to Sweden.
It is very close to Sweden. I did one for the last tour I was on. I finally went to Bornholm and did one of the tour shows there. But it's just a bit. The logistics are a little bit difficult with children. So I don't know about Bornholm, but the rest of Denmark, everywhere, Jylland and Sjælland and Fyn will have lots and lots of shows. So yeah, it will be really, really fun. And I'm kind of excited. So the first 2 shows I did are called Danglish and Danglish 2.
Yeah.
Not so imaginative. But those were really...
Well, there was no guy at the end of the show.
Yeah, exactly. But honestly, the second one was actually because we were under some pressure. I'd finished the Danglish tour, and then I got a phone call and said TV2 want to put the episode on their channel, and they want to buy the next one. And I said, what next one? And then my manager was like, I told them you had another show.
That's a good manager.
And this
It's
was
good, but also a terrible manager.
It was a lot of pressure because this was October and we had to write it and test it and shoot it before the end of the year.
Holy.
So I had like a month to quickly write something and then performed it 2 times. Once in Odense and once in Århus. And then the 3rd time I performed it, we filmed it at Comedy Zoo. So, and then
But
did a
that
tour.
show got really good reviews, and like that was.
But wait, it was good. What?
Yeah, but how is that good? It's
I
like
don't know. I think it's the weakest. I think it was the weaker second album, as it were. That's why the name is also a bit lazy, because we didn't have time. It's like, what do you want to call it? Fuck, Tanglish 2. But there are some good, of course, some good bits in it. But yeah, it's not the best show. But it was weird then filming it and then doing an entire tour where the show got better. Because obviously I performed it, I don't know, 40, 50 times or something. And then in that time I was like, I've got a better joke or better ending or blah, 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 blah. So it was a bit hard to, feel really good about the tour at the end and know we weren't going to film it because we already had it ready. So then did the third one where I started writing more jokes for it, and then the 4th one, the one that just came out, also was really in that zone. And now for this one I want to go even bigger, so I want to go really deep into Danish culture, maybe also start looking a little bit at the history. I went to Christiansborg the other day and went to some of the museums for kind of inspiration, went to the ruins if you've been underneath. Yeah, they have the original foundations and stuff. So I was having a look at all of that, so I want to bring those elements in and try to take a deep dive into Danish culture with this new show is the plan.
Very cool.
You gonna make fun of us, or are you gonna?
I call it a celebration.
That's good.
Well, we want to be made fun of.
Yeah, and celebrated. So that's a perfect.
Yeah, we love being celebrated as well. I'm excited for that.
Thank you. I'm excited too.
Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to
it. Where can you buy tickets?
You can go on my website, conradmolden.dk.
Well, that's easy.
Find the full schedule there.
Conrad with a C.
Conrad with a C. And I've got a really cool team working with me, not just management, but also like visual creators, a really cool group of guys. And they've made the website look really cool. So it's very carrot themed at the moment. So if you go on there, it's just fun. There's also, when we was doing that shoot in Lugstør with Aquavit, I don't know exactly why, but the organizers are a group of, it's like an old verening of these old people that go and pick all the little ingredients. And one of them bought a 1950s British, it's like a mix between a camper van and a bus. And it's huge and it's really cool. And he re-renovated it. So it's kind of yellow and white and red. And I had the idea that I would dress up as a king for a shoot that we were going to do. No final idea, but something to do with kings, something to do with carrots. And when we arrived and saw the bus, we were like, okay, we have to do something with this. So we took a lot of photos. That's the tour poster now is me coming out of that bus. Yeah. But there's a picture of me. Originally, the idea was I would sit on top of it. And we've taken that image and put it on the website. And it grows bigger and bigger as you scroll through the shows. So yeah, these are just like fun little things that they're adding into it.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's very cool.
So just go on the website as well and just enjoy.
Yeah, don't even have to buy a ticket. Just enjoy the website.
Exactly. And all the old specials are on YouTube.
Yeah.
Cool.
So if you haven't seen
And
them,
TV2 Play has the AØO,
they
right?
do for 3 years. But you can also buy it on my website, nice and cheap.
Just do that
Yeah,
instead.
do that instead.
Like, why would you give
Yeah.
TV2 money when you can give Conrad money?
Exactly.
Makes no sense. And also give us some money.
Oh
Just
yeah.
if you meet us
We
in
don't
the
have.
city.
We'll add a mobile pay link. We don't have a website yet, but we'll figure it out.
Oh, we need to do it cash.
Okay, sure.
Cash is best.
Then we'll put out our address.
That's my Jutland coming out.
yeah.
Bornholm, that's the Danish Wales, isn't it?
Bornholm.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a weird one, right? Because it's kind of half svensk, but at the same time, it's also like very cute, and people have good memories of going there.
Yeah.
And I don't think people get that with Wales.
Families sleep together.
I've done a camping trip in Wales where I arrived and I realised that I had forgotten to bring my sleeping bag or pillow or any kind of bedding.
Yeah.
And we're camping in Wales. Obviously, it's raining, even though it's the summer. And I wore all of my clothes that I've brought with me. And the first night, it rained so much that our tent flooded and all my clothes got wet. So every single night, I mean, I think I developed some kind of pneumonia or something. I was a teenager, so we were there messing around and drinking. But that's my memory of Wales now. It's
that's
cold and it's wet.
Yeah, and every
Probably
time
pretty accurate.
And every time you're on Bornholm, it's just sunny and it's the most beautiful landscape we have in
Buy
Denmark.
a big ice cream. And
Yeah, it's the best. Yeah, that's
like
true. So
sex
that's
with
quite the
sheeps.
opposite. We don't know how to like round shit up, for lack of better term.
We're terrible at ending this podcast. And therefore, we've decided to just not do it and make the guests do it. Because, like, why would we do the work if they can do it?
Yeah.
That seems very reasonable.
So this is, if you have anything else you want to promote.
Well, I'm just, follow you guys.
Oh,
Find what you're up to.
Conrad.
I was stalking you guys a little bit, and you have some very cool guests.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So, I wish you all the best. Getting bigger and bigger, finding more and more exciting people to meet.
And how did it go with the English? Was it okay?
It was a skill job.